That's a really good question.
I thought about wearing it, bling.
Wrestling's pretty good. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Frank Castle is in my bones. Frank Castle is in my bones.
The things that I saw in him and that he saw in me too.
You touched on meeting the guys at Built, but even, when you're doing endorsements as a player, you're getting into more business in retirement. Either way, was there a certain point in your playing career or recently where you realize when you do business, it's not just about the company or the product, it's about the individuals you're working with. You have to have chemistry with them the way you had chemistry with guys on the field.
Yes, 100%. That is very true. And that's why we are such a great team with the Patriots, because we had great chemistry on the field and off the field with all the guys. For example, I was just with Julian Edelman last night, and we had a great time. We were at the Travis Scott concert, and we were just kicking it off like we were in the locker room telling stories. And that's why we were such great, teammates and a great team, because when we see each other, we have just that chemistry. And you need that chemistry on the field. You need it off the field to be successful as well. And that's why I love these guys that built, especially the CEO, the founder, Eric. That's where I met him. I didn't even know that he was the owner of Built when I first met him. We hung out for about 3 days, and then eventually he brought it up. Hey, man, I think I've worked with your brother before. We kind of exchanged products, and I was like, oh, what do you do? He's like, oh, I own Built Basics. I was like, yes. I was actually at my brother's warehouse, and your clothing was there. Even though I already wear your clothing, I saw your clothing at my brother's warehouse, and my brother brought you guys up before, and I was like, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. And then we just hit it off from there. And you want to do business with people that you're comfortable with. You want to do business with people that are like-minded with yourself, that want to achieve greatness, that want to keep working hard, put the work in. And that's what I want to do for Built. Whenever I have a shoot for them, I want to go all in for them, just like they want to go all in for myself. And we sure did. We had an unbelievable day in Newport, California, about a couple weeks ago. And just overall, great people, great atmosphere, and they're putting out a product that is superior and A+.
Speaking of chemistry, I know everyone's asked you this. I want to try to ask a little differently, but the chemistry with you and Tom, what was it exactly that led to it and all the success? And at what point in your career did you realize that was there?
All right, the chemistry that led with Tom and I is that he saw a lot of potential in me. He was really hard on me my first, year or two in the NFL, because he wanted me to be great. And that's what a leader does. They kind of try to tick you off. They try to push you a little bit, to the next level, so they can bring that greatness out of you. And we were staying after practice my rookie year every single day for an extra 20 minutes, throwing routes, getting on the same page, understanding how I get out of breaks, understanding where I'm going to be. And then on top of it, I'm understanding where the ball is going to be, the ball placement, when he's going to throw me the ball, what type of movements he needs me to do. And that's chemistry just builds throughout the time. And we put that work in to build up that chemistry my first year, my second year, my third year in the league. And that's why I wanted to play with him as well for the rest of my career, because I know how hard it is to build up that chemistry. And that's why I loved going to Tampa with him as well, because I didn't want another quarterback at that moment if I was able to play with Tom Brady, because we worked so hard to build up that chemistry. And then also the offseason and OTAs, just getting together, one-on-one sessions, or with the other wide receivers, just meeting up at a park and throwing the ball. So it takes a lot of work, that's for sure. And it takes a lot of understanding, and it takes a lot of communication as well to develop the skills and chemistry that we had.
It obviously takes a lifetime of dedication to be an elite professional athlete. A lot of people dedicate their lives to athletics and don't achieve anywhere near what you achieve. But you look at everything you've done in business and entertainment and broadcasting too. Did you kind of always figure there was more than just athletics from a young age, or was that your focus when you were younger?
No, I did. When I was younger, just in my mind, athletics was life. Young guy. My goal was to make it to the NFL. That was my dream, was to make it to the NFL. Nothing else mattered. I mean, obviously, family, friends all mattered, but I'm saying work-wise, nothing else mattered to me. I'm the only one who didn't work for my dad, even though I wanted to. He does all the fitness equipment for the last 33 years, but I was the only one that was never on the sales floor or driving the trucks around, because I was so focused on athletics. I was playing so many sports. It was my ultimate goal. Didn't really know about business that much. I just knew that if I kept working hard, doing what I needed to do on the field, I could get to the pro level. I didn't really realize, life after football until about a couple years in the league. Yeah, I had a couple endorsements and stuff throughout my beginning of the years, but I didn't really realize, that you could build a brand. I had a couple endorsements. I was just running around being myself. And then it was about 25, 26 years old. I was like, oh, all right, I understand this. You can build a brand. You can have life after football. You can have a business after football. You can have a brand after football. And that's when I started developing relationships with brands. And that's when I started developing the sense of what I really wanted to do, not just take an endorsement in, because this could lead to the potential of what I want in my life. So I pick the things that I want, just like Built. I wear Built literally every single day, from the workout shorts right here. I got the workout shorts on right now. I just ran outside to wearing tonight. I have an event. I'm going to put my executive pants on, executive shirt on. I'll be looking smooth, looking professional. So that's the type of things I love to do. I like to do the things that I truly believe in. And I started really noticing that around like 27, 28. And then I feel like you last a lot longer as well.
How much did your personality help build your brand, you think? You kind of just known as someone who like keeps it loose, but also works hard, right?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. You got to work hard. You got to put the work in first. That was kind of always my motto. People thought I was an extreme party animal, never putting the work in, but I always made sure I did what I needed to get done first. And I always made sure I was ready for the next day or the day after, whenever work was going to be popped up again, or whenever I had to hit the field again. But it just came naturally, no lie. I was just being myself throughout the beginning of my career, actually throughout my whole career. Just going out, having a good time, having laughs, being silly out on the field. I'd been like that my whole life. So it came just naturally. It wasn't kind of like a gimmick where I was just trying to act like out of the ordinary. I was just being myself from the very beginning, like I have been, through my high school days, college days, just being silly. And then it just took off from there. And that's why I love the city of Boston, love all New England too, because they accepted me for who I was when I got to the NFL, and they all loved it as well. And I loved it too.
Do you ever take anything you learned from maybe like a team sports psychologist, like visualization into business? Was that ever a part of your career in sports and now business? Anything like that?
Visualizing is definitely a key. There was one thing that I definitely did as a kid. It's kind of like manifesting, and I always visualized myself in the NFL. That's why no other business opportunities really pertain to me growing up or in college or at the beginning of my NFL career, because I was just focusing on the NFL. If I go back to the high school days, every article was me. They were like, "Hey, write an article about what you want to do in the future." Or a paper, and every time I would write, every time I had the opportunity, I would write how I want to be in the NFL, how I'm going to be on an NFL team. And it was actually pretty wild, because one of the papers I did in college, I wrote why I wanted to be on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it just became full circle that 10 years later in my NFL career, I was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is pretty wild when I already did a paper on that in college. But definitely visualizing the plays out on the field too. That's how you make that's how it comes to reality. In practice, when you're going through walkthrough, you visualize where the guys are going to be from watching the film and understanding what placement they're going to be in, so you can run by them or get open. So visualizing is key. And then what I've learned is from the football field, being with so many players around me, and teamwork is everything, is I've taken a lot that I've learned from football and I transferred it to to real life, to life after football.
Because I used to do it with the Blackhawks, I'm curious what it's like to cover you. Like, would you like tell PR to, a lot of guys are going to request me for interviews in a room, like I'll do a big scrum, or would you do one-on-ones with people in the room? Like, what would you like to cover as an athlete?
You got to fulfill your obligations. You got to fulfill your contract. So at least once a week you sat at your locker, and then there was always 20 guys around you just asking questions, firing off. And then I would do about every other week about one or two one-on-ones where a guy really wanted a specific story about you and just had a couple extra questions, which was always great, man. They always did a great job up there in New England, that's for sure. But just overall, I really liked the press conferences that they had. It makes it easier. You go up for 20, 30 minutes, and it's not like you're repeating the same answer over and over if you keep doing one-on-ones and getting the same questions. So everyone's all in one room. The Patriots did a great job handling with their PR and their interviews up there, that's for sure. But just overall, man, New England definitely one of the biggest sports markets out there with the media as well. So you got to come prepared. You got to come prepared with, saying the right things. And like I said, I've said it many times before. I've learned from the Bill Belichick PR school, the school of talking to the media from Coach Belichick. And let me tell you, I've learned a lot from it, and I can always reflect my answers when I need to, just learning from Coach Belichick. That's
What
for
was
sure.
one Belichick pointer?
You know, don't talk about anyone else's situation. Just worry about yours, focus about yours. Don't comment on what's going on with someone else's what someone else's present or whatever is going on with someone else. So just always stay in your lane.
It seemed like you always had a good relationship with the media wherever you went. But do you have a new respect for that job? The job they were doing now that you're a broadcaster too?
Yes. That's when I really realized, wow, media's, tougher than I thought. When you're just 21, 22 years old, you're like, oh, that's so easy. You ask someone a question and you can write an article or whatever. And let me tell you, it's not. It's a lot of work. It's time. It's energy. A lot of thoughts go into the process. And I respect the media. Just like any other job that's out there, just like I respect my fellow teammates, with what they do. It's definitely a process. And now I'm learning so much because I can't just go in to be an analyst. I have to study. I have to prepare. You got to know your facts. You got to know your players. You got to know what you're talking about.
You're an analyst now, a broadcaster. You're doing a lot of business. Is there anything like? Do you want to jump back into more acting? Do you want to take another run at stand up? Like, is there something you want to put a little more effort into?
I just like staying in shape, fitness. Like I just got done with a workout. So as long as I'm able to do that, have time to myself for a couple hours a day to do that, that's one of my favorite things to do. It beats everything else. So as long as I can go out, for a run, play some volleyball, go catch the ball, go throw the football around just to stay active, or go play some hoops. That's what really satisfies me. It's just been in my blood my whole life. And also, I just love to do business stuff as well. It's just in my family. My dad's been running business for 33 years now in the retail and commercial industry for fitness equipment. My brother, obviously, he's the owner of Started Ice Shaker, and I'm a part of that. But I love representing brands. I love doing shoots as well. And if an acting role came by or something like that, I would definitely look at it. But I'm not trying to go full speed into it. But just overall, I'm trying to go full speed into the companies that I represent and do good for them and they do good for me too.